Hey guys, Derek here with another video. So this video is going to focus on Western style RPGs on the DS, which like overwhelmingly are going to be first person, kind of like CRPGs slash, I guess first person RPGs. So the first game up is going to be the only one that's non first person, but it's going to be Dungeon Explorer Warriors of Ancient Arts. This is kind of like your traditional like isometric dungeon crawler slash action RPG game. I think this game also released on, well, like this series also released on like Sega CD and the PSP, I think. But anyways, like this game is pretty cool. It's got like a town area like you would see in like Diablo or like any kind of game like that, where you can do like buying items, buying equipment, getting quests, just talking to NPCs and seeing what's going on in the world. And then also, um, it's got a bunch of like different areas that you go, and then in each area you have like one or more different kind of dungeons that you can then start go crawling through. It's pretty cool. Like the combats, it's actually really good on the DS. I had no complaints about it. The dungeons themselves kind of can get repetitive, especially at the beginning. Like you kind of can reach a point where you over level really quick, especially if you just kill the enemies like every time you see them. But it doesn't, like, I don't think take anything away from the game. Like, it's still a fun game. The music's really cool. Each, well, not each, but like throughout each dungeon you have kind of like Legend of Zelda style puzzles, so that's always kind of cool. And you can play multiplayer, so if you have other people who have the game, or I think you can just like, if one person has the game, it also works that way. I'm not sure, but anyways, yeah, you can play the game multiplayer. The next game is going to be, it's an interesting game. Like a lot of these games got like very low scores in the reviews, and which is why I don't think you really hear too much about them these days. But like I tend to not listen to reviews, as if you follow my channel long enough, you probably know. Like I think reviewers tell you what they think of the game, and what they think of the game is rarely what I ever think of games. So I usually go with my own instinct on games. But the game is going to be called Deep Labyrinth, and this is an Atlas game. This game is pretty cool. Like I said, it's a first-person RPG game. So you kind of like roll through the game. You can use like weapons and melee attacks to fight enemies, and then you can also use the stylus to cast magic spells, and then you can chain like different magic spells together, which is kind of cool. I didn't really do the magic thing in this game just because I don't like pulling out the stylus, so I just kind of like brute force my way through a lot of it. But like the character designs in this game, I really like. It kind of reminds me of like a Studio Ghibli like style like universe, I guess. Like all the different kind of characters you'd see in like a Ghibli movie, you can kind of see in this game. And like I said, I just really like the character creation, or the characters and like the different enemies and stuff that you see in this game. This game also has like two different stories that you can play through that kind of like interweave themselves and connect, which is pretty cool. So you can play through as a kid and then come back and play through as an older person. So I won't really spoil any of the story elements, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, like I think the jank of the controls and just having to use the stylus to do magic kind of turned people off from that game. It's a cheap game, so I think if you want to try it out, try it out. But well, I haven't checked the prices on them in a long time, so it was a cheap game when I bought it. I assume it's still a cheap game. So if you want to try it, definitely give it a go. All right, the next game up is going to be Orcs and Elves. This was actually developed by ID, whatever it's actually called. I always just call them id. They're the same people that created Doom and like Wolfenstein and all that. So like the same kind of mechanics that you would see in an older Doom game, where you're kind of like looking for different keys and stuff to open doors, or like trying to hit switches and stuff throughout a level to like get to different areas. You have like secret areas, secret bosses, secret enemies, secret like item stashes and stuff to find. But just replace all the stuff that you know from Doom with like fantasy weapons and stuff, and then you have Orcs and Elves. Like it's a pretty cool like fantasy based dungeon crawler. I really like the game. This is also a very cheap game. I know there is a version of this game, like it was years and years ago, but like there's a version of this game that was only sold at Walmart, I think, that came with like a wand stylus, and like people were like crapping themselves trying to get a copy of it, like you know how collectors do. And yeah, so those I think go for a lot of money, but it's kind of stupid. Like stuff like that I don't really care about anymore. But like the game is cheap, the game is fun. It's made by a great dev team, so definitely give it a shot if you want to try it out. All right, the next game up is going to be Mazes of Fate DS. This game also released on the Game Boy Advance. The DS version of it, I think, basically did like bug fixes or something. Like the Game Boy Advance one, I think, was pretty buggy. But this one does um, bug fixes. It also like overhauled the graphics engine, and I think they added some more areas and stuff. So it's just realized it's really far away. So it's like a really cool game. This game is different than the other games that I'm showing in that you actually, well, I guess one game is going to be similar, but you have a party in this game. So like as you're like traversing through the dungeon areas and stuff, like in first person, you're actually like a group of people. So this is kind of like the old wizardry games, which I kind of like. I think that's pretty much the defining factor of this game. It's also got like a town area, like all these games have town areas and stuff where you go talk to NPCs, get your quests, find out what's going on, like upgrade your equipment and stuff like that, buy items. This one has like a pretty interesting graphic style to it. I actually kind of like really like it. It's kind of like a Western animated look to it. Like it's Western animated, kind of anime inspired, but not anime. So that's always kind of cool. And then yeah, like the game is good. I've got no complaints about it. It's a graffiti game, so it's probably not very easy to find, but it's not going to be expensive if you do find it. Okay, the next game up is going to be one that I had just heard about maybe like 3-4 months ago. I put a lot of time into it. I still haven't beat it yet, but it's a fun game. I'm still playing through it. Yeah, anyways. So it's going to be called Fighting Fantasy, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. And I think the plastic wrap is going to keep there we go. Yeah, so Fighting Fantasy, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. I will warn you ahead of time that this is a super expensive game complete these days. I don't know if it had like a limited release, but finding complete copies is fairly hard, I'll say. But you can find loose copies of this game like super cheap. Like the price differential is crazy. I bought a loose copy of this game off of GameStop during one of their. Well, I bought it off of GameStop. Regular price is $20, but I bought it during a sale, so I got it for cheaper than $20. And then I think they regularly have copies of this game. So yeah, like if you want to try it out, definitely buy it loose or just try like a ROM version of it or something. But this game reminds me a lot of like a very limited Elder Scroll game, like probably like more so Morrowind, except it doesn't have like a deep lore in that like there's a lot of items and stuff to like find. Like you're not going to be reading like a ton of books and stuff in each room, or you're not going to like run into a billion NPCs that have like a bunch of unique things to say. But there is like a town area, again, kind of like in Morrowind. Well, like this one's more like a Elder Scroll town where you can like actually walk around and see things, and yeah, you get your quests and stuff there. The dungeon areas are really cool. I like this game in that it mixes up the areas. Like, it doesn't really hold your hand and tell you where to go. It just kind of gives you a direction, and then you go like explore that direction. And then like while you're exploring, like you can be walking down a hallway, and then like one door will be like low level enemies and stuff, and then you go in there. You might like run into an NPC or something that gives you a side quest. But then like the very next door might be like like you walk in there and it's just like OP enemies and you get one shotted. And like that's kind of cool because I think it encourages you to like memorize the stage and like know like what you're walking into. And then it also kind of encourages you to come back as you like level up and like explore rooms that you couldn't go into previously. This game is a very good game, like I said. Like you just didn't get a whole lot of love, like most of these games. And there's also like a book for if you bought it from GameStop. It came with a book, and I think the book was like Choose Your Own Adventure. I actually ended up finding a copy for like 99 cents off eBay, and I'd started reading it, but I didn't finish it. But it's pretty interesting. And I guess the Fighting Fantasy is like a tabletop RPG game, so if you're into that, you might be into the game. But anyways, the last game here is going to be the one that I talk about all the time. It's my all-time favorite DS game, and it's going to be the Dark Spire. I usually just show the case, but this is like the big box that it came in. Like, you know how Atlas usually does first releases. It just came with the cardboard like outer box and then like a CD. And then here you can see the back of the box. So like Dark Spire is, like, for all intents and purposes, like a love letter to older like Western PC RPG games. This game is amazing in like every way. Like this game, the music is just incredible. Like you can, I've talked about this before, but I don't think I've ever showed video, but you can go from like the kind of like modern art style and music that it is by default, and you can change it to like an 8-bit style where the music will change and the stage will change, and even like the enemy art will change. And yeah, you could like do it on the fly. You can mix and match like old style graphics with new style music, or new style graphics with old style music, or you can just do like completely old style or new style. It's really cool. Throughout each level, there's a ton of different like secret areas to find. You'll run into NPCs that'll give you kind of like vague hints of stuff that they want you to do. Like they're not entirely quests, but they're quests, and you can choose to like try to figure out what they want you to do, and then if you figure it out, you get like good items, or maybe you'll find like a hint to a secret area, or maybe a secret area will just open up. Each level is super difficult. This game requires you to think about what you're doing when you level up your party. It makes you think about like the party members that you have. And yeah, I forgot to say, it has like a pretty deep character creator. Like you can just roll with defaults created by the game, or you can like create your own characters. I'd say like if you're just starting out, just use the default ones and try to get a good idea of what's even going on in the game. But yeah, like it's definitely going to require you to think about what you're doing, and then yeah, so then you just kind of like grind your way through a level, and then like as you're traversing through a level, like your map will fill in, then you can get an idea of what the level looks like. There's no cursor on the map though, so you still have to like keep track of where you are within the level. Just, I don't know, everything about this game I really like because it forces you to use your imagination, and that's what I used to really love about video games. And now in the day of just like ultra graphics, everything's just kind of fed to you, which is not bad. Sometimes it's really cool, but I just wish we would get games that make you use your imagination every now and then. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Oh, my legs fell asleep. Yeah, so as you know, I don't really upload videos to YouTube anymore, but I am starting to stream on Twitch a lot more often. If you want to come hang out and just hang out in the stream on Twitch, my Twitch ID is Edwins_roar. I'll probably throw it up in the video. So yeah, if you want to come hang out, check it out. On Saturdays, I'm going to be streaming shmups, like the shoot 'em ups that I love so much. And then throughout the week, I just kind of play whatever game I'm playing. Like currently I'm playing through Super Mario Odyssey, and then after that, I kind of want to play another Nintendo game. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Anyways, hope everyone's having a great day. Happy Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend coming up. Take it easy. Later.